For more than a decade, fans of Asterisk Kitchen Nightmares have wondered what really happened behind the scenes of one of television's most explosive and beloved shows, and why Gordon Ramsay, one of the biggest culinary and television personalities in the world, abruptly ended it in 2014. To many, the decision made no sense. The show was a massive hit, both in the UK and the United States, and it had made Ramsay a household name. It was packed with high drama, shouting matches, emotional breakthroughs, and unforgettable moments that shaped reality television as we know it. Yet behind all the fiery exchanges and triumphs on camera, something much deeper was brewing, something that would ultimately push Ramsay to his breaking point. At 58, Gordon Ramsay has finally revealed the real story of why he walked away, and it's far more complex than anyone ever imagined. When Kitchen Nightmares first aired in the UK in 2004, its premise was revolutionary. Ramsay, already a rising star in the culinary world with Michelin-starred restaurants and a reputation for perfectionism, would visit failing restaurants and attempt to save them from collapse. The formula was simple but powerful: honest feedback, brutal truths, and a complete overhaul of the restaurant's food, service, and identity. But what made the show truly captivating was Ramsay himself, his passion, intensity, and refusal to accept mediocrity. Viewers didn't just tune in for the transformations, they watched to see Gordon tear through the chaos with surgical precision and unmatched charisma. When the American version launched in 2007, Kitchen Nightmares USA exploded in popularity. Audiences couldn't get enough of Ramsay's unfiltered critiques and his dramatic rescues of struggling restaurants. For 7 years, it dominated primetime television, earning numerous award nominations, including recognition for Best Reality Show in multiple years, and even a nomination for Ramsay as Best Host. At its peak, it was more than a TV show, it was a cultural phenomenon. People quoted Ramsay's fiery one-liners, imitated his temper, and admired his no-nonsense commitment to saving small businesses. On the surface, everything seemed perfect, but beneath the success, Gordon was facing a growing personal and professional crisis that viewers never saw. The truth was that Asterisk Kitchen Nightmares wasn't producing the real-world results Ramsay had hoped for. Despite the emotional makeovers and moments of triumph captured on camera, the vast majority of restaurants featured on the show eventually failed. Studies and follow-ups revealed a heartbreaking statistic: roughly 82% of the American restaurants that appeared on Kitchen Nightmares later closed. For a man as driven and perfectionist as Ramsay, this was devastating. Every closure felt like a personal failure, a reflection on his ability not only as a chef but as a mentor and leader. The show's premise was built on the hope of saving businesses and changing lives, yet most of those stories ended in disappointment. As the seasons went on, the experience began taking a serious toll on Ramsay's physical and emotional health. The grueling filming schedule, combined with the stress of dealing with stubborn and sometimes delusional restaurant owners, pushed him to his limits. Many owners resisted his advice, ignored his guidance, or reverted to their bad habits as soon as the cameras stopped rolling. Some even used the show purely as a publicity stunt, pretending to cooperate while secretly seeking fame rather than improvement. Worse still, Ramsay suffered food poisoning multiple times during filming due to unsanitary conditions in the restaurants he visited. What viewers saw as entertaining drama was, for him, a dangerous and demoralizing grind. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 2014, while filming at a remote ski resort in southern France, Ramsay encountered a restaurant owner whose attitude broke him completely. The man, a British expatriate running a poorly managed restaurant, had no interest in quality or improvement. He was charging high prices for subpar food, exploiting tourists who had nowhere else to eat. Ramsay quickly realized this wasn't a case of ignorance, it was a case of apathy. The owner didn't care about his customers, his business, or even the truth. He openly resisted every suggestion Ramsay made, treating the show as nothing more than free advertising. For Gordon Ramsay, a man who built his career on integrity, craftsmanship, and respect for food, this was the final insult. The situation deteriorated until Ramsay found himself questioning everything. He realized that no amount of shouting, advice, or experience could save someone who didn't want to be saved. The stress, frustration, and disillusionment all came crashing down. One morning he woke up during filming and knew instantly he was finished. Not just with that episode, but with Kitchen Nightmares as a whole. After 7 exhausting years, Ramsay decided to walk away from his own hit show. It wasn't the network's choice or a ratings issue, it was his. When Ramsay called Fox Broadcasting Company to deliver the news, executives were stunned. Here was one of their biggest successes, still performing strongly in ratings and adored by fans, being canceled not by them but by its star. They begged him to reconsider, offering to reduce the workload, change the schedule, or adjust the format. But Ramsay was resolute. The issue wasn't the number of episodes or the pace of production, it was the futility of trying to save restaurants that were destined to fail. For Ramsay, continuing would have meant betraying his values. Without genuine passion and cooperation from the owners, the show's premise had become hollow. After Kitchen Nightmares ended, Fox tried to recreate its success with * 24 Hours to Hell and Back in 2018. The new format gave Ramsay just 24 hours to transform a failing restaurant, a faster, more intense version of the old formula. Initially it generated buzz, but the spark didn't last. The show felt overly scripted, rushed, and lacking the emotional connection that made * Kitchen Nightmares so compelling. Viewers missed the raw authenticity and deep storytelling of the original. By its third season, ratings had dropped sharply and the show was quietly cancelled. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, and everything changed. The restaurant industry was decimated. Lockdowns, restrictions, and economic collapse forced thousands of restaurants to close. For Ramsay, who had spent decades building and running restaurants worldwide, the crisis struck a personal chord. These weren't lazy owners or hopeless cases anymore. These were hardworking chefs and families who had lost everything through no fault of their own. The world was witnessing the kind of restaurant collapse that Kitchen Nightmares had dramatized for years, but this time it was real and devastating. Moved by the suffering of genuine restaurateurs, Ramsay felt a renewed sense of purpose. The original mission of * Kitchen Nightmares, to help people in desperate need, suddenly made sense again, but with a new context. In 2023, 9 years after the show's cancellation, Kitchen Nightmares made its triumphant return. This time the focus shifted to restaurants that truly deserved saving, passionate owners struggling with post-pandemic realities rather than incompetence or denial. The tone was different too. Gordon was still blunt and demanding, but more measured, empathetic, and collaborative. The revival was met with praise. Critics and fans appreciated the show's new direction and more authentic tone. The success stories felt real, the challenges relatable, and Ramsay himself seemed reinvigorated. He wasn't fighting hopeless causes anymore, he was helping honest people rebuild their dreams. Now reflecting on his journey, Ramsay admits the truth behind Kitchen Nightmares' * original downfall. The show failed not because of ratings or fatigue, but because the concept itself was flawed. A week of intervention couldn't fix years of mismanagement or personal dysfunction. The 82% failure rate proved it. For Ramsay, every failed restaurant felt like a wound to his credibility and a blow to his integrity. Continuing would have meant compromising everything he stood for as a chef and businessman. Canceling Kitchen Nightmares wasn't a sign of weakness, it was a statement of principle. At 58, Gordon Ramsay has come full circle. The return of * Kitchen Nightmares represents not only a revival of a beloved show, but a redemption for the man who once walked away from it. The lessons of failure, frustration, and time have reshaped his approach. What began as a story of burnout and disillusionment has transformed into one of resilience and renewal. The chef who once swore off restaurant rescues forever has rediscovered his passion, and in doing so proved that even in the most chaotic kitchens, second chances are always possible.